Hello and welcome to another episode of Comic Book Reviews. If you love comics as much as I do, you're going to subscribe to my channel. I review comics for Comic Crusaders. I also have my own franchises, Adolescent Radioactive Samurai Platypi and Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter. They're available on Comics Central, Indie Planet, and Comixology. Check them out. Stay tuned to this broadcast for more information. Also, like the Facebook pages for each franchise for more information. Check out my Patreon site for some neat original artwork and shows that you won't find on YouTube. Hey comic book fans, Kevin Given with you once again. I want to remind you, I also do reviews for Comics for Sinners website. Check both of those out. Comic Crusaders, Comics for Sinners. And today on Comic Book Reviews, we're going to review Batman number 70 and Marvel Action Spider-Man number 3. Let's start with Batman. This story is part 1 of The Fall and the Fallen. The issue opens at Arkham Asylum with an inmate quoting William Blake's Marriage of Heaven and Hell. Then we cut to the Batman confronting one of his many rogues gallery. He's none too pleased with this villain's latest attempt to dupe him. It shows with the way the Caped Crusader introduces his need to the perp's skull. He's not happy at all. First issues in a multi-issue tale are always difficult to review because we're not entirely sure where they're going to go. But let's look at the creative team. Tom King appears to be setting us up with a multi-villain confrontation, and this is the first part of the story. We're seeing a lot of our heroes' rogues gallery, and I've always maintained that Batman has the best rogues gallery of any superhero, especially in the DC universe. He's having fun throwing these characters at the alter ego of Bruce Wayne, and this issue whets our appetite for more crazy fun that will probably be on the way in future issues. The mastermind behind the latest caper appears to be using Batman's past fears to intimidate him, though he should know better by now. The Batman has put up with all of this craziness before, but now it's all being thrust at him at once. Will this issue's main villain succeed in cracking the psyche of the world's greatest detective? Great stuff includes the Riddler's opening riddle and the reveal of the main villain. Michael Janin and George Fornes, along with Jordi Belair, succeed in bringing the right atmosphere to this tale. First with different shades of green that gives way to blue and later on red, which reveals the emotional states of envy, indifference, and finally, anger. The contrast and shading create an eerie feel to the proceedings that make this issue seem incredibly creepy. Highlights include the first appearance of our hero in a green fog and the revelation of this issue's main antagonist, who also emerges from a green fog. In conclusion, 80 years of Batman have had their ups and downs. At different times the character was going to be cancelled, but something has always happened to keep us fans on our toes and brought the Dark Knight back into prominence. This tale is one of the character's high points in terms of suspense building, a rogues gallery homage, and noir-style mystery that keeps us guessing. This issue concludes with the same inmate that opened the tale, this time quoting another classic poem. What is it? No spoilers. Gotta read it. To be continued. Now let's look at Marvel Action, Spider-Man number 3. I'm really liking the current Marvel IDW superhero comics. The stories are simpler than the current Marvel tales that are sometimes incredibly far-reaching and involve so many complex issues to understand what's going on. Kind of like the variant versions of Reed Richards and the ever-changing attitude of Dr. Doom. The Marvel IDW universe reminds me of the simpler times when there was just one Reed Richards and Dr. Doom was just a simple badass character. These stories are clearly aimed at the younger generation, and that's good and bad at the same time. On the one hand, we're introducing iconic characters to this generation, which will hopefully bring in young people. But on the other hand, I would like them to be slightly more mature so that people my age can relate to them too. Oh, don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying this, but at the same time, it's a little more juvenile than I'd like. Anyway, this issue sees Peter Parker's Spider-Man team up with Miles Morales and a little Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen, thrown in for good measure. Looking at the creative team, Delilah S. Dawson understands what makes a good Spider-Man story. It's the action. I'm going to try not to reveal who the main antagonist is in this review, but the action begins when a certain professor is messing with things that he shouldn't be, and all in the Spider-Man family has to thwart his evil plans. Classic comic book action with all the necessary tropes. It's a nice read and should appeal to the little kid in all of us. There's even a humorous moment when Peter Parker tries to web the villain, but didn't expect Miles Morales to swoop down in front of him, and he accidentally webs Morales instead. It's all about having fun with these classic characters, and fun is what this issue is. Great stuff includes the attack of the giant pigeon and Spider-Gwen's hacking into the professor's computer. Fico Ossio has the arduous task of reimagining iconic characters for a new generation, yet keeping us fans of the classics happy too. Ossio is doing a fantastic job. The main antagonist looks frightening and yet appealing to the younger generation in a way that will keep both enthralled. The delicate balance is maintained in a way that a lot of today's Hollywood doesn't get when reinterpreting the iconic for a new generation. Looking at Speed Racer, most of today's remakes of 80s movies, it's not an easy job, but Osseo was up to that task. Highlights include the first appearance of the main villain, the moment when the three Spideys unmask to quell any notion that they may not be who they appear to be. In conclusion, the fun continues as we watch another fantastic story unfold. The Spider people all shine in ways we would expect them to, and they appear to be having fun as they solve this case together. It's all about the teamwork, and we're getting three young people working together. They're approaching the answer to the mystery when? No spoilers here. To be continued. If you love comics as much as I do, you're going to subscribe to my channel. I review comics for Comic Crusaders. I also have my own franchises, Adolescent Radioactive Samurai Platypi and Carl Vincent Vampire Hunter. They're available on Comics Central, Indie Planet, and Comixology. Check them out. Stay tuned to this broadcast for more information. Also, like the Facebook pages for each franchise. Check out my Patreon site for some neat original artwork and shows that you won't find on YouTube. And that was our look at comic book reviews for this week. Until next time, this is Kevin Givens saying so long and keep reading those comics.